Hello, it's Saturday the 23rd of January. You're tuned in to our 6 p.m. newscast coming to you from Arirang's news centre in Seoul. It's very good to have you with us. I'm Mark Broom. We start with the big chill that has been biting both here and on the east coast of the United States. The severe cold wave has tightened its grip on Korea, with temperatures tumbling to potentially life-threatening levels. It has gotten so cold that the nation's weather agency has issued its first cold wave warning in 5 years for Seoul and its surrounding areas. The mercury is forecast to dip to a bone-chilling minus 18 degrees Celsius in the Korean capital on Sunday morning. The last time it was that cold in Seoul was January 2001. Now, temperatures should start returning to seasonal norms from early next week. Now, a snowstorm that is predicted to be the strongest in a century is hitting the east coast of the United States. Washington, D.C. is expected to be the worst hit. The U.S. capital is forecast to be buried in up to 60 centimetres of snow. A state of emergency has been declared and a significant chunk of the U.S. transport system has been shut down. Around 6,000 flights have been cancelled thus far. At least 8 people have reportedly died in storm-related crashes. The snowstorm is forecast to continue through Sunday. The United States has expressed its support for 5-way talks on denuclearizing North Korea, calling it a useful step. Seoul-based Yonhap news agency reported the statement on Saturday, citing a spokesman for the U.S. Embassy in Seoul, who asked not to be identified. On Friday, President Park Geun-hye proposed the 5-way dialogue involving members of the long-stalled 6-party talks minus North Korea. The countries are South Korea, the U.S., Japan, China and Russia. President Park's proposal follows North Korea's claims that it successfully conducted a hydrogen bomb test on January 6th. Now, global oil prices have surged above the $30 level a barrel, ending a massive slide early this year. Expectations for more demand fueled the rally. Hwang Jie has the details.
Oil jumped 9% on Friday to more than $32 a barrel on the New York Mercantile Exchange. The gain in West Texas Intermediate for March delivery came on the back of hopes for boosted energy demand, stemming from the harsh winter weather and fresh stimulus measures by major central banks. President of the European Central Bank, Mario Draghi, has hinted at more monetary easing, while market analysts are also expecting Japan to expand its asset purchasing program later this month. The rebound put the brakes on the worst start to a year for global shares. Stocks on Wall Street went up 2% on Friday. But not all market watchers are positive about the rally, saying it could be short-lived, with downward pressure remaining on the supply side due to factors like the lifting of international sanctions on Iran.
We've got a lot more supply coming online. OPEC decided in December not to cut production levels. So I don't see increased demand compensating for all that increase in supply. But markets are excited, and we've seen the price of oil go up as a result.
The gloomy forecasts about oil prices that once almost reached $150 a barrel in 2008 also persist due to concerns about China's slowing growth. China posted its slowest growth in a quarter of a century last year, fueling concerns of sluggish oil demand. Hwang Jie, Arirang News.
Now, 4 people have been killed in a school shooting in central Canada. Police detained a male suspect outside the La Loche community school in Saskatchewan and are investigating a second incident in the remote village. The town's mayor says the suspect, whose identity has not been revealed, shot his 2 brothers at home before opening fire at the school, killing a 23-year-old female teacher and an assistant. Several other people suffered injuries, some serious injuries. Officials have not yet given a motive for the shooting. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said all of Canada was grieving over this awful incident. Now, mass shootings are very rare in Canada, a country that has much stricter gun laws than the United States. Now, the 2016 World Economic Forum will be just about kicking off its final day in the Swiss alpine town of Davos. On day 3, US Secretary of State John Kerry outlined the main challenges facing the world in 2016. He said the world had to provide opportunities for young people, win the campaign against the terror group that calls itself Islamic State, and boost humanitarian aid for refugees.
Social media. President Obama is going to host a summit at the UN this fall, and the summit will be the culmination of a sustained, rigorous effort to rally the world community on several fronts to increase by 30% the response to humanitarian funding appeals, the number of regular humanitarian donors, to increase it by at least 10, to at least double the number of refugees who are resettled or afforded other safe and legal channels of admission.
And Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau also said his country would take and welcome refugees.
Thank you, Professor Schwartz. Now, many of you have reached out to me recently in thanks for Canada's compassionate response to the Syrian refugee crisis. But let me tell you something. When I welcomed those first families to Toronto last month, I welcomed them as new Canadians and as the future of the Canadian economy.
Now, this year's Davos Forum has been dominated by anxiety over China's slowdown, the chaos in the Middle East, plunging oil prices and the refugee crisis. We will be connecting to our correspondents in Davos during our next newscast. That's coming up at 10 p.m. Korea time. Now, staying with Davos, and there are two sides to the World Economic Forum. During the day, it's all business, speeches and group discussions, but at night, the participants hit the town's bars and restaurants to meet and greet in a less formal setting. Guansua reports from Davos.
Talking business, technology, politics, and the crucial issues that matter today.
Oh, yeah. During the day, I attended the forums. There are some very interesting, not very formal ones and very formal ones with some high-ranking people. And tonight we are. I'm invited to a party. Probably I'm gonna go there.
Since Wednesday, the participants have been coming and going from countless sessions and discussions. Once their official schedules end, though, their feet take them to a totally different atmosphere.
While the buzz is inside the Davos Forum during the day, the streets outside of the venue begin to fill up in the evening. And some say that's when the real networking begins. So let's take a look and go inside.
7 minutes.
Over a drink, attendees like these at this Indian company party are getting to know each other better than they would have in the formal venue halls, meaning the get-togethers act as an extension to their business talks. It's at these gatherings where spontaneous partnerships can be sealed.
And now Davos has also changed. It's not just about the corporates and businesses. It's about all parts of society working towards development.
One of the highlights are the many Nights series that represent countries' participation at the forum. Some of them are especially popular every year.
The quality eating and enjoyable talking and very friendly atmosphere.
It's not every day you get to meet people from all kinds of countries and backgrounds in such a small town. And if you are in the right place at the right time, you could find yourself rubbing shoulders with high-ranking political figures, celebrities, and global business tycoons. Kwon-soa, Arirang News, Davos.
Now, global markets have been in a tailspin since the start of the year due to plunging oil prices and concerns over China's slowdown. Korea is no exception, but the country's main bourse, the KOSPI, has actually fallen by the second least in the G20. The KOSPI is down 4.17% since the final trading day of 2015, second only to Indonesia, which is only down 3.9%. Saudi Arabia, the world's biggest oil exporter, has seen its stock market tumble more than 20%. in the space of just 3 weeks. Other big losers include China, 17.5%, Russia, 16.5%, and Japan, almost 11%. Analysts say the KOSPI hasn't gone down that much relative to other markets because it didn't really rise as fast as other markets over the past few years. The KOSPI closed at 1,879 on Friday, up 2.1% from the previous day's close. Now, Kia Motors Sportage was the third best-selling SUV in Europe last year. Analyst Jato Dynamics says the Korean automaker sold slightly over 90,000 Sportage units in Europe in 2015. In the January to October period last year, Kia's Sportage sales in Europe increased more than 10% on year. This year could be even better, as Kia has launched its latest model, which has been garnering positive reviews as well. Hyundai Motor can be pretty happy as well. Its iX35 was the fifth best-selling SUV in Europe last year, with 81,000 units sold. Now, we are going to end by giving you another recap of what the weather is like here in Korea, because it is going to be extremely cold tonight nationwide. You have been warned if you're watching us in Korea. The mercury in Seoul will tumble to minus 18 degrees Celsius. But with the wind, it could feel even colder than that. So it goes without saying that you should bundle up nice and tight if you're heading out. Sunday will be bright and sunny, but very cold again. The daytime high reaching just minus 9 degrees in the capital. Now, this intense cold wave should be over by early next week. With that, let's take a look at the weather around the world. Well, that's all we have for now. Do enjoy the rest of your Saturday wherever you're watching us, and stay tuned to Arirang TV. We'll be back with our next newscast at 10 p.m. Korea time. We are going to connect to our team in Davos for the World Economic Forum updates, so we do hope to see you then. Until then, goodbye.